blocks here, whether you need them or not. We'll get into all of that, so don't stress, don't worry, it's all good. And then I have a blanket only because I just really like to have something underneath my knees whenever I come down on like the back knee or anything like that. It gives me a little bit of cushion. So that's another thing that is completely optional. You don't have to have it. If you think you might like it, go ahead and grab one. And then when you're ready, let's meet in child's pose. So Balasana. And take your big toes to touch. Bring your knees out to the side edges of your mat. And then bring your hips back towards your heels. So this is our slow flow, just taking time to stretch, to open, but also to move a little bit and get any stagnant energy out. So you can close down your eyes, relax your brow, and wiggle your jaw from side to side if you need to release any tension. And then turn your focus to your breath. So as you breathe in, you know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know you're breathing out. Perhaps setting an intention for your practice, if that's something that serves you. My reminder to myself every day, and then also every time I step on my mat, is that none of this has to be perfect. It won't be perfect. It just has to be honest, right? So whatever movements begin to unfold, the shapes that your body chooses to make during this practice, they're all valid. They're exactly the way they're supposed to be. When you're ready, take your left arm, wrap it around the small of your back, kind of like in a half bind. So your left forearm is just resting on the lumbar spine. And then your right hand comes like a half reverse prayer. Just going to drop your right thumb behind your neck, with your elbow still reaching towards the top of your mat. It's almost as if you were going to go into a Gomukhasana from here, but we're not. We're just starting to gently open and continue to breathe. When you're ready, gently release your arms back forward, taking your time. And then on an inhale, press up into all fours. So box pose, stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, and bring your knees underneath your hips. Spread the fingers out wide so that you can press down into the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger, but not so much that you create unnecessary tension throughout the rest of your hands. On the inhale, drape a soft belly down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. And then on the exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back. Let your head hang down. Tuck your tail. And then inhale. Allow for your belly to press back down. There's a sway to your low back like a hammock. And then exhale to reverse it. Dome out the upper back. Tuck your chin. Bring your navel towards your spine. So cat-cow. On the inhale, the belly drapes down. You press your heart between your upper arm bones. You might even feel the heel of your palms pulling back. There's a contraction. And then you exhale. Separate your shoulder blades as much as you can. And then you can stay with cat-cow. If you want to start swaying around into hip circles coming out of that vertical plane, feel free to do so. Kind of getting an idea of where the joints are at this point. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, knees, hips, ankles. I'm a little crackly, you might hear that. And if you went into a hip circle, it's just making sure that you go in the opposite direction as well so that you even out your body. Really nice. And then come back into center. Press your palms down. Now step your right foot back to the back of your mat. Keep the ball mounds of your foot down. And just rock slowly forward and backwards so that you stretch through the right calf. I keep the pit of my belly pulling up so that I don't sag through the low back. Excellent. And then restack your joints, shoulders over your wrists. With the inhale, lift your right leg up to hip height, nice and slow. With your exhale, spin your right pinky toe down so that you internally rotate your right upper thigh, your thigh bone. And then inhale, press your right heel back. On the exhale, bend your right knee so that you take the sole of your right foot towards the ceiling. You might feel a catch in your hamstring or in your glute. It's okay, it's temporary. Doing a little bit of strength, just enough because it can't all be stretching, right? So with the inhale, maybe pull your right foot up just a little bit higher. And then exhale, press your right foot back. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, step your right foot outside of your right hand. So you're in a low lizard. This is a great spot to grab blocks if you want those underneath your hands to the inside of your right foot. And then lift your left knee so that you can slide it back ever so slightly so that you catch a diagonal from your left hip to your left knee. On the inhale, pull your heart forward. You could lift your chest. You could even lift your chin, lift your gaze. Drishti is important, so wherever the eyes go, your focus follows. And then on the exhale, shift your hips back. Straighten through the right leg. It doesn't have to go completely straight. You can also slide your blocks back with you. So this is like a half diagonal split, half lizard split. And then inhale, walk yourself back forward. Nice and easy. The hips soften down. Roll your shoulders back. And then exhale, shift it back. Lengthen through your right leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Very nice. Last one. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, shift it back. This time we're gonna hold. So allow for your right hip to pull softly back as your left hip draws gently forward. So feeling this in the inner thigh, the groin, the hamstring, a little bit of everything. And just keep breathing as you pull your collarbones forward and the tailbone back. And then on your next inhale, walk yourself back forward, re-bend your right knee. The left hand is going to stay rooted as you exhale. And then inhale, take your right arm up to the sky. Your gaze follows your right hand if that's okay with your neck. And just stay here. Breathe. And then reach your right fingertips towards the back of your mat, opening up through the right shoulder, the front. You might feel this through the pecs. And then I don't want you to worry about catching your foot, but just lift your left heel towards your glute so that you feel the stretch on the left quad and on the front of your left hip. You're more than welcome to catch the foot if you need to, but it's extra, right? It's all good. You're still getting all the benefits right here. And then your gaze might reach towards your right shoulder, just watching the neck. And then let your toes come softly down to the ground. Let your right hand come back up and over. And then maybe you come down onto your forearms if that feels right in your body. You could turn your right toes out to like 1 or 2 o'clock and roll to the outer edge of your right foot and breathe. So in our practice, we're going to work head to toe, a little bit of everything. Ideally, we leave feeling balanced, rejuvenated, open, expansive, all of those good things. But we also know that it doesn't happen every time, right? So whatever is showing up is all good. And then you can bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Turn your right toes back forward. And then slide your blocks out from underneath you just so that you can move a little bit here. Press your palms down into the ground. Curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. And then step your right foot back. It's a high plank for just a second, and then exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. An inverted letter V. Lift your hips so you find a hinge at your hips rather than at the waist. Your knees can be really bent to achieve this, right? So the legs don't have to be straight. And then moving luxuriously, maybe you start to pedal out your feet, walking your dog, bend one knee, then the other, lifting the heel. Perfect. And then imagine you're moving through quicksand. On your inhale, roll to the balls of your feet. And on the exhale, just come back down to hands and knees, nice and slow. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, drape a soft belly down. Press your heart forward, lift your chin, lift your tail. And exhale to reverse. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine. Inhale, the belly down. And exhale, belly up. Inhale, come back into a neutral spine. And then exhale, just draw the pit of your belly up to support your low back. Now on your inhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat, staying on the ball mounds of your foot, and roll forward and backward so that you stretch through your left calf. You'll notice the misalignment of the shoulder, elbow, and wrist joints. That's on purpose as you move forward and backward. And then restack all of your arm joints. Pull the pit of your belly up. Inhale, lift your left leg up to about hip height. And then exhale, spin your left pinky toe down so that you align and square off your hips. Take your inhale here. And then exhale, bend your left knee. It's like a platter being served up towards the ceiling. You're going to feel the glute and the hamstring engage. It's okay to wobble. It's okay to be uncomfortable. You might even lift your left foot just a little bit more. Breathe. Pit of your belly in and up. And then inhale, re-extend your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand. Grab your blocks, bring them underneath the palms. And you're in your low lizard at the top of your mat. Lift your right knee, slide it back an inch or two. And then inhale, allow for your pelvis to drop down and forward. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chin, lift your gaze. And then exhale, shift yourself back, straighten through your left leg, flex your toes back towards your shin. Inhale to rock it back forward. And exhale, shift it back, lengthening through your left leg. It doesn't have to go straight. You can have as deep of a bend as you need. Last one, inhale, come forward. And exhale, shift it back, hold this time. Flex your toes back towards your shin, pull the left hip back, the right hip forward, and breathe deeply. So this is a lot happening on the left leg. But we also watch the shoulders, the upper back, all that good stuff too. Beautiful. Now on your next inhale, walk yourself back forward, nice and slow. Exhale, root your right palm down. Inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. Just be here for a second. Feel your left shoulder stack on top of the right, the left clavicle on top of the right, and you take your gaze up towards your left hand. And then reach your left fingertips towards the back of your mat so you get the opening out through your left shoulder and your left pectoral muscles, watching the bend of your right elbow so you don't overextend. And then lift your right heel, dig it towards your glute, feel the stretch on the right psoas, the front of your right hip, and the quadricep. You're breathing. And then it's a very soft release of your right foot to the ground as your left hand comes back up and over. And then come down onto your forearms if it's available. If it's not, skip that. Left toes can turn out to 10 or 11 o'clock. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Just be here. Breathing in. You know you're breathing in. And breathing out. And you know you're breathing out. And then slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. Bring your palms down onto your blocks. This time I'm going to have you keep your blocks here. Curl up your right toes. Lift your right knee. And on the exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. Heels in, toes out. Drop your bottom low for Malasana Yogic Squat. So when you get here, if it's like, oof, it's not going to happen for me today, you can always take your blocks, stack them, slide them underneath your sacrum. But I think we're all good. So just kick it here and breathe. And then sometimes I hold stillness here for 5 breaths. Sometimes I rock side to side because I need a little bit of movement in my feet. So I have arthritis in my feet. So sometimes I need to move and kind of get some heat going in there. So whatever is speaking to you in this moment, follow that, right? Eventually the shoulders stack over the hips and the tailbone drops down. Perpendicular to the earth. You can even close your eyes right here. And then with or without your blocks, I'm going to place mine at the top of my mat with my, I'm going to actually move into level 2 with my hands on top. Inhale, lift your hips, straighten your legs, turn your toes forward, and then exhale to a ragdoll. So really lift your tailbone by bending your knees as much as you need to, rib cage to your thighs, and then grab opposite elbows, let your head hang down. So you have the opportunity here to sway side to side, to be still, whatever you need, but really lengthening out through your posterior chain, so the hamstrings, the glutes, the low back, let your head hang completely. So there's no creasing to the back of your neck. Then let your hands come down to the ground. On your inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Stay right here for your exhale. Root your feet down. Now with the inhale, reach your fingertips a little bit higher. So every time you come to extended mountain or Urdhva Hastasana, you're reaching so much that the navel pulls up and away from the top of your pubic bone, the sternum up and away from your navel, creating space for your organs to be at peace, at rest inside your body. And then exhale, drop your left hand down. Reach your right arm up and over. If this bothers your low back at all, take the top of your pubic bone and draw it slightly up towards your navel. And just breathe in, allowing for the right floating rib to pull up and away from the top of your hip. Breathe in. Know that you're breathing in. Breathe out. Know that you're breathing out. On your inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Get as long as you can. And then exhale, drop your right hand down and reach your left arm up and over. There's a gentle tuck of the pelvis so that the top of the pubic bone draws up so that you lengthen through the lumbar spine. And notice how when you breathe in, that inflation of the lung causes the ribcage to fan open and intensifies everything that's happening. And then inhale, take both arms back to the sky. Exhale, elbows back and down towards your kidneys, towards your ribs. Open up through your chest. So it's like a cactus arm or a goalpost. And then inhale, bind up your hands at the small of your back. So interlace your fingers. If it doesn't feel great, you can grab opposite elbows, right? And then you open up through your collarbones, maybe lift your chin. And then as you exhale, bend into your knees. Stick your bottom back, stick your tailbone back so you hinge at the hips and bring your ribs to your thighs and let your head hang and work your fist up and over. And breathe. Awesome. One more inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. On your inhale, if you want the blocks underneath your hands, find your half lift. So it's like a number 7. The tailbone draws back, the crown of your head pulls forward, your belly pulls in and up. And then you exhale, bring your hands down to the ground, step your feet back. You're in your high plank. And then bring your knees down to the ground. Inhale to shift yourself forward. The eyes of your elbows point forward, and you exhale all the way down to your belly, untuck your toes. Your hands are just underneath your shoulders. On the inhale, roll your shoulders back. Peel your collarbones off of the earth. Bhujangasana, and then exhale, come right back down. No creasing in the neck, your third eye comes to the mat. And then inhale, roll your shoulders back. Peel your chest off of the earth again. And exhale to come down. And then this time, if you choose, you're more than welcome to move more into like a low cobra. I tuck up my toes, and then inhale, pull my heart forward, lift my chest, come into a variation of upward facing dog, but without the knees and the shins lifted. And then exhale, press your hips back towards child's pose just to rest it out and to tap back into your breath. The forehead comes down. Breathe in. Know that you're breathing in. You'll hear me say that a lot. Breathe out. Know that you're breathing out. Now, if you want to stretch your triceps a little bit, you could take reverse prayer hands. Seal your hands together and then drop your thumbs to the nape of your neck. And breathe. And then you take your right arm, wrap it around the small of your back, and the left hand stays where it is. And breathe. Now release both arms back forward. And then inhale, press up into your box pose. On the exhale, I want you to really focus on that space between your navel and your pubic bone. So where Uddiyana Bandha resides, and that's where we're gonna move from. So curl up your toes, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Create your inverted letter V. On the inhale, take a soft bend to your knees and gaze forward. On the exhale, as many or as few steps as you want, feet come to your hands at the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold yourself down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Now inhale, Utkatasana, bend your knees, stick your bottom back and down, and then reach your arms up. Allow, if the ankles and knees are together pressing, allow for the inner thighs to squeeze towards one another. If the ankles are separated, so are the knees. And you breathe. Hold the pit of your belly back. Mula Bandha, engage at the base of your pubic bone. Breathe. Relax your brows, your jaw. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, fold yourself down, let it go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back to your high plank. I want you to hold one inhale in your high plank. And then moving from that same space between your navel and your pubic bone, exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Now this is kind of a variation of Surya Namaskar B, your Sun Salutation B. We're going to add a little bit. On the inhale, float your right leg up using your whole breath. Take your time. And then exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Your left heel goes flat. And then press both feet down. Scissor your inner thighs towards one another, even though they're not touching. You got it. Inhale, take your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Warrior one. Be here. Breathe it in. So the naturally occurring back bend is on the left side of your spine here. We don't exaggerate it, but engage your left glute and your left hamstring to support what's happening there. Breathe, gaze, drishti at the tip of your nose or just softly out in front of you. The Ashtanga variation, which we're not doing Ashtanga, but your palms would feel and you would look up, right? So if that feels okay in your body, have at it. On your exhale, bind your hands at the small of your back. You can either interlace your fingers and make a fist, or you can grab opposite elbows behind you. It's whatever works for you. You also have the option to stay lifted right here. If it feels right in your body to exhale, hinge forward at your right hip. Take the crown of your head towards the inner arch of your right foot and lift your fist up and away from the small of your back. Breathe. Keep pulling your right hip back. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, just let your hands come down and frame your front foot. On the inhale, lift your left heel so that you can parallel your left toes. Exhale, no noise. Press your palms down. Step your right foot back. You're in your high plank. Hold for your inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, use your whole breath, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Your right heel goes flat. Take your time. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. So warrior one, left side. Stay for the exhale. By having the right toes angling slightly inward, this is what helps the right side ribs and the right hip wrap forward. Don't worry if you're not perfectly squared off. At some point, I feel like, I hate using this word, but that's the intention, I guess, is for the hips to square off towards the front of your mat. That doesn't work in your body right now. There's no sense in forcing it. It's just remembering that's the directional pull. Exhale completely here. Inhale, reach your fingertips higher. Exhale, Baddha Hasta, interlace your hands at the base of your spine. Inhale, puff up your chest. Option to stay lifted. Or exhale, hinge at your left hip. Take the crown of your head down, tuck your chin. Your gaze goes towards your back leg. And if you're working Jalandhara Bandha, your throat lock, your chin tucks in towards your chest, and your gaze is at your own navel. You breathe. Take one more inhale. Exhale, let your hands come down to the ground. Inhale, come to the ball of your right foot so that you can lift your right heel and square off. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat. You're in your high plank. Hold for your inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Now you're holding for 5 breaths, so you have the option to take child's pose, take a dolphin pose with the elbows and the forearms down, or stay in downward facing dog, creating heat, building strength. I know sometimes people will say down dog is a resting pose, and I would argue with that, right? So you do what you need to do here. If you're in dolphin, think of your elbows coming slightly in towards one another so that your arms look like a number 11. And then you're pressing down into the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then when you're ready, let's all meet in downward facing dog. We're gonna do that little sequence right there one time. Breath to movement, just to build some heat and some fluid movement. Now with slow flow, what that means, you don't start moving quickly, you really match your breath to your movement. And so it becomes like a moving meditation. Starting off, inhale, bend your knees. So from downward facing dog, inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet to the top of your mat. Take your time. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low, chair pose, reach your arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tabletop your back. Exhale, high plank, step your feet back. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautifully done. Inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward, left heel goes flat. Inhale, arms to the sky, warrior one. Exhale, bind up your hands, small of your back. Inhale, prideful warrior. Exhale, humbly bowing warrior. Take it forward and down. Inhale, hands to the ground. Parallel your back toes. Exhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Hold here for your inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Right heel goes flat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, bind up your hands. Inhale, puff up your chest. Exhale, hinge forward and down. Inhale, hands to the ground. Parallel your back toes. Lift your back heel. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat. Inhale, you hold. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Excellent work. Very nice. We add on inhale, soft bend to the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet to your hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold yourself down. All right, so inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low, reach your arms high. Option here, either an open arm twist, left arm forward, right arm back, or a deep prayer twist, left elbow to the outside of your right knee or thigh, and hands come to heart center. It's really whatever you want. Just breathe here. Watching the left hip, if it pulls forward, pull it back. On your inhale, come back to your chair pose, reach your arms high. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step your left foot to the back of your mat and soften your left knee down. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Stay for the exhale. And then maybe just perhaps you lift your left heel towards your glute. It's going to throw your balance off, so you've got to really push down into the big toe ball mount of your right foot and squeeze your inner thighs, right? I'm wobbling. It's all good. Breathe it in and out. Your left toes come back to the ground. Frame your front foot with your hands. Now curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. Inhale, right leg, three-leg dog. Take your right leg up to the sky. Exhale just one time. Give your right tricep a little tap with your right knee. And then inhale, float your right leg up. Exhale, right foot comes between your hands. Left heel goes flat. Inhale to windmill open to a warrior two. Gaze to your right fingertips and breathe. Beautiful. Your left toes angle slightly inward. Breathe here. Inhale. Take a deep lengthening of your spine. Exhale, your right hand comes forward and down. You can bring your forearm to your thigh as long as all of your weight's not there. You can also bring your hand to the earth or to a block on the inside or the outside of your right foot. And then reach your left fingertips up and over for extended side angle. Breathe. Now bookmark the sensation of right side lateral ribs and your right thigh. Take an inhale. Exhale, straighten through your right leg and come into Utthita Trikonasana. So your ribs are no longer touching the thigh, but ideally they're right on top of it. Stacking your torso on top of your right thigh bone, and then gaze up to your left hand. Breathe. Now on your next inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms out to a T. And on the exhale, turn your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. I want you to stay lifted today. You're going to bend into your left knee, bring your hands to the ground. It's a high skandasana. I'm going to flip the other way. So you're towards the back of your mat, but bend into your left knee. And keep your crown, your sternum, and your tail all in the same line. Beautiful breathing here. And then when you're ready, hands come to the earth, straighten through both legs. Your feet are either going to be parallel to the long edge of your mat or slightly pigeon-toed. Inhale to tabletop your back, and then exhale, fold it down. Let your head hang, Prasarita Padottanasana, let everything go. Long neck. And then you inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, just flip back towards the top of your mat, framing your right foot with your hands. Inhale to bend your right knee. Exhale, step your right foot back. Lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Feel free to take a break through a child's pose if you like. Otherwise, move into the second side. Inhale, soft bend to your knees. Gaze forward. Exhale, take your feet to your hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, chair pose, bottoms back and down. Reach your arms high. Exhale, either open arm twist, right arm forward, left arm back, or deep prayer twist, right elbow to the outside of your left knee or thigh. Breathe. Inhale, come right back through your chair pose. Reach your arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten through your legs and let your crown just dump down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, step your right foot back. Soften your right knee down to the ground. Your left knee is a 90-degree bend. Remember to find that stability first. So pull the pit of your belly in. It's going to help you stay strong and stable rather than wobbly, right? Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Find your strength first, your foundation. And then if you're into it, you can lift your right heel towards your glute. Breathe. Do one more more inhale. Exhale, right toes to the ground. Hands come down to the earth. Inhale, curl up your right toes. Lift your right knee. Float your left leg up and back. 3-leg dog. Now just one time. Exhale, tap your left knee to your left tricep. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot through. Right heel goes flat. Inhale, windmill open, Virabhadrasana B, so warrior 2. And then you drop it down. Open your arms like a T, lovely. Gaze to your left fingertips. Very nicely done. Now take an inhale here. And then exhale, left forearm to your left thigh, or left hand comes down, and you reach your right arm up and over. Just be really honest with yourself about what's going on with the left arm, right? We don't want all of our weight to dump down, because the idea here is that our core does support us, and so do the legs. And then drishti traditionally would go towards your top hand. If that doesn't feel right, just gaze to the right side of the room. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten through your left leg. You're probably going to slide up a little bit. Your fingertips can be on your shin, they can be on a block. Gaze up to your right hand. Breathe. Keep pressing equally down into both feet. And think of the left glute, the left kind of low back tucking slightly. Good. Exhale completely. Firm up your inner thighs. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, open your arms out to a T. Exhale, turn your left toes towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms out. I'm going to bring my hands down. Exhale, bend into your right knee. It's a high skandasana at the back of your mat. Stick your tailbone back. You do you. Excellent, yeah. And then take an inhale here. Exhale, straighten your right leg. Turn your toes either parallel or slightly pigeon-toed. And drape your chest down towards the ground. Let the crown of your head just reach down. You can roll through the shoulders, anything at all. And then you inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, flip over your left leg at the top of your mat. Inhale to bend into your left knee. Exhale, step your left foot back, lift your hips up and back. And then if you need to move around, circle out, it's good. And then inhale, take your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. So coming into your half pigeon. Now you have options here. If you prefer to come into a double pigeon, you're gonna slide your left shin on top of the right. If you prefer reclined on your back, you'll cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then the right shin is either up to parallel with the top of your mat, or heel all the way into your pelvis, or anywhere in between. Whatever creates zero tension in your knee. And then you inhale to pull your heart forward. Exhale to walk yourself down. And we're here for a little bit. So I want you to find that space where you can drop in here. And if you notice that you start to think about your day, about anything else, I get it. We're human. Come back to, I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. And I'm breathing out. And I know I'm breathing out. Do a body scan and notice where you're holding on to tension. And see if you can let let that go. So not bracing for impact, none of that, just leaning in. Slowly begin to slide your hands back so that you can inhale, lift your chest. On the exhale, roll slightly over to the right and bring your left leg out in front of you. And then take the sole of your right foot towards your left inner thigh. So Janu Shirshasana A. There can be a deep bend to the left knee or no bend at all, whatever. You can also use a strap and loop it around the ball of your left foot. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinge at your left hip. And think of a long spine with your collarbones pulling towards your ankle so that you feel this mostly in the left hamstring, the right hip, the low back on the right side. I really feel it on the low back with both sides, but and breathe here for 3 more. Very well. And slowly lift yourself back up. And then if you would like to come through downward facing dog and lifting the leg, feel free to do so. If you want to just bend the left knee and roll over to the left hip and bring your right leg back for half pigeon, either way works for me. Some people really need it to be exactly the same entrance, so I see you, I feel you. I want you to do what feels best. And then when you're ready, we come into half pigeon on the left side. Left knee comes forward, left shin up to parallel to the top of your mat. Or the heel all the way in towards your pelvis. It's up to you. Allow for your right hip to wrap forward and feel heavy. And take a flex to your left foot. Heart draws forward, and then as you exhale, you come down. Let your forehead come down. Relax your brows. You can take your arms forward, out, or back. But just settle in here. Notice if you're clenching your teeth. Gripping your glutes. Or even just carrying unnecessary tension in your upper back and your shoulders. Can you let that get soft and heavy and just fold on top of you? And slowly begin to slide your hands back. So that you can inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, roll over to the left and swing your right leg out forward in front of you. Seal the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. Take your time, grab your strap if you'd like. Inhale, arms up and over. And then exhale, hinge at your right hip. Pull your right hip back slightly, your heart forward. And kind of check out the toes. The second and the third toe tell the tale. If they're hanging out, hanging in. Ideally, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but ideally they're pointing straight up and back towards you. And then slowly begin to draw your shoulders back over your hips. Extend both legs out in front of you for Paschimottanasana. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. You can take a bend to the knees and then exhale, fold over your thighs. So really trying to work the rib to thigh connection. So that means that your knees can be as bent as you need them to be. And we don't care if you actually touch your toes or not. Perfect. Nice, y'all. And then gently walk yourself back up. Bring the block with you. And I'm going to bring my feet to the ground and scoot forward. You're going to find a C curve to your spine. And roll yourself all the way down onto your back. And then with your feet pressing down into the ground about hip width distance apart, press your feet down, lift your hips, and slide your block underneath your sacrum for a supported bridge. So you could take your block on level 1, 2, or 3, whatever feels best to you. I'm going to have you just be here and breathe for 5. Excellent. Very good. And when you're ready, take one foot into the sky at a time until they're both up in the air for a supported waterfall. Close down your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. And just feel the sensation of everything pulling down and away from your feet, these feet that carry you around all day, every day. They do so much. We pay such little attention to them until they hurt. So let them feel light. Now gently bring your feet back down to the earth. Press your feet down so you can lift your hips, slide the block out from underneath you. Roll your hips down one vertebra at a time until your spine is resting on the mat. Give yourself a moment. Then you're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. And then open your arms out to a T. Drop your knees to the right and turn your face to the left. This one last bringing out of the body. If there's a different supine twist that feels better, have at it. We do try to keep both shoulders down. And then inhale, one leg at a time comes through center, your low back goes flat. And exhale, drop your knees to the left and turn your face to the right. Let your right shoulder feel heavy. And then inhale, one knee through center, low back goes flat. On your exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, round your forehead up to your knees, that last little bit. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, open up to your Shavasana. Allow for your legs to extend forward and your feet to hang comfortably open. Your arms can come down by the side, body palms face up, or you could rest one palm on your low belly, one on your heart. We move into that final kind of resting space for your practice. Close down the eyes, relax your brows and your jaw. Allow for the bottom side of your body to be heavy and grounded and rooted while the top part is light, it's floating and weightless. And rest, enjoy. If you need us to be here a little bit longer, you're going to tune me out and stay right where you are. Especially if you have the time to stay where you are, that is my invitation. Otherwise, you begin to deepen your breath, to wiggle your fingers and your toes. On the inhale, take your arms out and up, find your full body stretch. And on the exhale, hug your knees in, and taking your time, you roll over to the right. You can gently press up into your comfortable, easy sit, your Sukhasana. And once we're there, the hands can rest in the lap, on the knees. And perhaps you seal your palms together in Anjali Mudra at heart center. So take that final moment, that pause, to be grateful for our bodies, for what they do for us today, to be hopeful for tomorrow. I appreciate all of your presence, your breath, your movement. Your wellness is a necessity, not a luxury. So taking the time to unroll your mat is a big deal. So thank you for being here, and namaste.